It was just another long shift at the clinic, and I was beat. When I finally checked my phone, I had missed calls and a couple of texts from Sarah. She had been my best friend since nursing school, always pulling me into her whirlwind plans. "Anna, you better be coming tonight. Tom's picking you up at 8. No excuses this time." I sighed, not really in the mood for a party, but Sarah wasn't one to take no for an answer. Plus, I hadn't really socialized much since, well, forever. Nursing had become my life, and between shifts, there wasn't much time for anything else, let alone dating. I texted back, "Fine. But I'm out by 10, okay? Deal. It'll be fun, promise. And wait till you meet Tom, you'll like him." I wasn't sure about the winky face, but Sarah always had a way of matchmaking when it was least expected. I headed home to change, throwing on a simple black dress and some flats, nothing fancy, just enough not to stand out. At exactly 8, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find a guy about 6 feet tall, with a friendly smile and a casual stance. He extended his hand. "Hey, you must be Anna. I'm Tom, Sarah's brother." "Nice to meet you," I replied, taking his hand. It was a firm handshake, not too strong, not too weak. "Thanks for the ride." "No problem at all. Sarah told me you'd been dodging her invites for months. Figured I'd make sure you had no way out this time." He chuckled as we walked to his car. The drive was short, and Tom was easy to talk to. He asked about my job at the clinic, really listening instead of just waiting for his turn to speak. It was refreshing. "So, you work at the clinic, huh? That's got to be tough." "Yeah, it can be draining. Long hours, lots of stress. But it's worth it, you know? Helping people." "I get that. I'm in corporate, big trading company downtown. It's a different kind of stress. All about the bottom line, less about people." We arrived at the party, and Sarah was already there, waving frantically when she spotted us. "Anna, you made it." She rushed over and hugged me, then turned to her brother. "See, I told you she'd come if you picked her up." Tom just smiled and rolled his eyes a little. Yeah, you were right." The night moved on, and surprisingly, I was enjoying myself. Tom was easy to talk to, and even easier to look at, not that I was looking, well, maybe a little. As the night wound down, Tom offered me a ride home. So, did it live up to Sarah's hype? It was better than expected, I admitted. "Thanks for not making it weird." After that ride to a party, our affair developed rapidly, and a year later, Tom and I walked down the aisle. Life after marrying Tom moved fast, too fast sometimes. It felt like just yesterday I was in scrubs, handling back-to-back shifts at the clinic. Now, my days revolved around our little girl, Emily, and the house Tom had lived in long before I moved in. When Emily was born, everything shifted. Tom, who had been all about us working together as a team, suddenly was all about me staying home. "You don't need to work anymore, Anna. Stay home, take care of Em. It's best for her," he had said one evening, not really asking, but telling. I remember that conversation clear as day. We were in the kitchen, Em was just a baby then, sleeping upstairs. I had just brought up going back to work part-time. "Part-time? Why? I make enough for both of us, more than enough." "Isn't it better for you to be here with her?" Tom had cut in before I could even lay out my plan. "Yeah, I know, but I think it's good for me too, to get out, do what I trained for. I miss it." I tried to explain, feeling the weight of the words even as I said them. Tom had frowned, leaning back against the counter. "I don't get why you'd miss it. It's just work. Here you can relax, focus on Em." "Isn't that what you want?" It stung, the way he dismissed my career like it was nothing. "It's not just work, Tom. It's what I love, what I'm good at. Doesn't that count for something?" He sighed, scrubbing a hand over his face. "Look, let's not turn this into a big deal. It's just better this way, trust me. Why don't you think about it some more, huh?" That was Tom's way of ending discussions he didn't want to have. It wasn't worth arguing then, not when he had his mind made up. So, I caved, thinking maybe he was right. Maybe it was better for him. As the months turned into years, the clinic became a distant memory, and my nursing skills something I used to patch up scraped knees or soothe a fever. Tom was gone a lot, working late or traveling for work. I was home, always home. "Mommy, look what I made." Emily's voice pulled me from my thoughts one afternoon. She was holding up a drawing, all bright colors and bold, messy lines. "That's beautiful, sweetie. Tell me about it," I encouraged her, putting aside the cleaning to give her my full attention. "It's us, see? There's you, there's me, and there's Daddy." She pointed to each figure excitedly. I smiled, hugging her close. "It's perfect. We should put it up on the fridge." But then, things changed. Tom, once so attentive and caring, turned critical and harsh. Suddenly, every little thing I did was wrong. "You're getting sloppy, Anna. Look at this place, it's a mess." He'd snap, his eyes scanning the room for anything out of place. I tried to ignore it, but the comments kept coming, each one a little stab. "And have you seen yourself? You've let yourself go completely. When was the last time you even tried to look nice?" His words hurt, and they were supposed to. Every remark about my weight, my clothes, or how I spent my day stung deeply. I found myself looking in the mirror, wondering if he was right, if I really had lost myself in all this. I felt lost, a shadow in my own life. That's when I decided to pull out my old painting supplies from the back of the attic. They were dusty and forgotten, much like the part of me that once dreamt of being an artist. Back in the day, I'd actually been quite good. My old art teacher used to say I had a real gift, but life, well, my parents, really, had other plans. Nursing was a more sensible career choice, they'd said. And like a good daughter, I'd packed away my paints and canvases along with my dreams. I'd set up a small area in the attic, out of the way, where I thought it wouldn't bother Tom or his parents when they visited. How wrong I was. The first time Tom saw my paintings, he just laughed. "What is this supposed to be, Anna? You're wasting time on this stuff? Why don't you do something useful instead?" His voice echoed off the concrete walls, sharp and dismissive. His parents were no kinder. During one of their frequent inspections, they saw my art corner. His mother snorted. "Look at this mess. Thought you'd have outgrown this phase. You should focus on keeping a better home." His father just shook his head, chuckling as if I'd told a bad joke. "And Tom, he just piled on more. This hobby of yours is costing us. I'm not funding your little daydreams anymore. You want to play artist, use your own money. But remember, the groceries and bills aren't going to pay themselves." So that's what I did. I started dipping into my savings, the money I'd scrimped and saved from before, back when I was still working. Each canvas, each tube of paint felt like a piece of my freedom, bought at a steep price. Another day was like the old ones. Tom's mom ordered me around like some kind of servant while they were over for breakfast. "Make us that special coffee you do, and I want those omelets. And try to get it right this time, will you?" She barked from the dining table, not even bothering to look at me. "Yeah, and make sure there's no mess. We wouldn't want any paint getting into the food," Tom added with a smirk. His dad chuckled, agreeing in that gruff, dismissive tone he always used. I clenched my teeth, keeping the simmering anger at bay while I prepared their breakfast. They ate, they criticized, and they left, leaving me to clean up the aftermath of their visit. But instead of scrubbing down the kitchen, I went straight to the attic. I stood in front of my easel, palette in hand, and for a few hours, I wasn't just Tom's wife or his mother's target for criticism, I was myself, Anna, the artist. Tom went on another business trip. The house felt strangely quiet without him around, not that he was much company lately with his constant complaints and jabs. But this quiet was different, it was empty and a bit unnerving. I was in the middle of organizing Emily's school books when my phone rang. Seeing Tom's name flash on the screen didn't exactly fill me with enthusiasm, but I answered. Anna, listen up. I need you to get something for Caroline's birthday. It's next week. Tom's voice was brisk, all business, no pleasantries. I pulled the phone away from my ear for a moment, taking a deep breath before responding. Tom, money's tight. You know I can't afford anything fancy right now. Well, that's your problem to figure out. I'm not sending money for this. Just make sure it's something nice. Impress my boss's wife, he said, and without waiting for my reply, he hung up. Great. Just great. I stood there, phone in hand, feeling both angry and helpless. Tom hadn't even asked how Emily was doing, how I was managing everything on my own while he was away. It was always about his work, his needs. After stewing in frustration for a good hour, I decided to do a bit of detective work. I logged onto my computer and pulled up Caroline's social media profile. Scrolling through her posts, I noticed a pattern. She loved art, especially paintings. Photos of galleries, art shows, and various pieces filled her page. She even mentioned supporting local artists. That's when it hit me. I could paint her something. It was personal, and it certainly wouldn't cost as much as buying something. Plus, it was a chance to maybe, just maybe, show Tom that my painting wasn't just a silly hobby. I set up my easel with renewed purpose, sketching out ideas. The painting took shape over the next few days, a vibrant cityscape with a twist of whimsy, something a bit different but eye-catching. It was one of the best pieces I'd done in a while, not because of the technique or the colors, but because every brushstroke was filled with my determination to prove myself. Tom didn't call to check in, not once. It hurt, but it also fueled my resolve. This painting was going to Caroline, but it was for me too, a testament to my skill and passion. The night before the party, I carefully examined the painting. It looked professional, something you'd see in a gallery window. I was proud of it, proud of myself. I hadn't felt that way in a long time. I rehearsed what I would say at the party, how I'd explain the thought behind the painting. I imagined Caroline's reaction, hoping she would appreciate the personal touch. With the painting done and wrapped, I was still nervous. The day before Caroline's birthday, Tom called again. "Did you get the gift?" he asked, his tone expectant. "It's all taken care of," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. "Good. I'll see it at the party, right?" "Yes, you'll see it there," I confirmed, not quite ready to reveal the surprise over the phone. The day of Caroline's birthday had finally arrived, and the atmosphere was tense for me. After dropping Emily off at my parents' house, I packed the painting I had poured my heart into, feeling both nervous and proud. I arrived at the venue, a classy spot downtown, carrying my carefully wrapped gift. Tom had returned from his business trip just an hour before the party and was already there when I arrived. As soon as I saw him, his eyes narrowed, scanning my outfit and the package under my arm. "You wore that? Look around, Anna. Do you see how the others are dressed? You look so out of place," he hissed, not even bothering to keep his voice down. His eyes were cold, judgmental. I tried to shrug it off, focusing on why I was there, to deliver the painting. But before I could even greet anyone else, Tom noticed the wrapped canvas in my hand. "Don't tell me that's the gift you got, your painting? Are you kidding me, Anna?" "It's a thoughtful gift, Tom. Caroline appreciates art," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady, despite the rising embarrassment. Tom's reaction was explosive. "Art? That daub? Are you nuts? You've made fools of me and yourself." His voice rose, carrying across the room, and soon enough, a hush fell over nearby conversations. People started staring, whispering. My face burned with humiliation, but before I could defend myself further, Caroline and her husband, Tom's boss, approached us, drawn by the commotion. "What's all this about, Tom?" Caroline asked, her voice calm but curious. Tom, red-faced and flustered, tried to laugh it off. "Oh, nothing much, just Anna here decided to bring one of her paintings as your gift. I was just telling her it might not be appropriate." His boss looked from Tom to me, then at the gift in my hands. Let's see it then. Anna, would you show us your work? He asked, more intrigued than offended. Reluctantly, I unwrapped the painting, revealing the vibrant colors and the abstract cityscape I had labored over. There was a pause, a breath of silence, as everyone nearby waited for Caroline's reaction. "Oh, this is marvelous!" Caroline exclaimed, stepping closer. Her eyes lit up as she took in the details. "Such a wonderful composition, and these colors are just vibrant." "It's beautiful, Anna." Tom's mouth fell open, his earlier confidence draining away as he looked between the painting and Caroline's delighted expression. Caroline turned to the others gathered around, her enthusiasm undimmed. "Isn't it wonderful? It's not just a gift, it's a piece of genuine art." "Anna, you're very talented." The guests murmured their agreements, their earlier laughter turning into praises and curious glances at my work. Tom's boss clapped him on the shoulder, a knowing smile on his face. "Seems your wife has hidden talents, Tom." "Good choice on the gift, very thoughtful indeed." After the initial shock of the party died down, and Caroline's enthusiastic endorsement of my painting set the tone, the evening took a surprising turn for the better. I found myself surrounded by a few of Caroline's friends and other guests, all eager to discuss the artwork I had brought. Tom, still reeling from the unexpected praise the painting received, kept his distance, nursing his drink and his bruised ego. He glanced over occasionally, clearly uncomfortable with the attention I was receiving. "So, Anna, how long have you been painting?" One of Caroline's friends, a kind-looking woman named Beth, asked me as she took a closer sip of her wine. "Off and on, since I was a kid," I responded, warming to the subject. "But I've only recently started taking it seriously again. It's been a sort of personal rediscovery for me." "That's fascinating," another guest chimed in, a man with keen interest sparkling in his eyes. "It's rare to see such vibrant use of color." "Do you have more work at home?" "I do, actually. I've been working on a series of cityscapes and abstracts," I explained, feeling a surge of pride. Just then, Caroline joined our little circle, her presence drawing more people into the conversation. "Anna was just telling us about her series," she said to the newly joined guests. "I'm thinking of hosting a little showing at my house. What do you think?" The idea sparked an excited buzz around us. Caroline's enthusiasm was contagious, and her support felt like a validation I hadn't known I needed. "I think that sounds wonderful," a new voice added. It was Caroline's husband, who had been listening in from the sidelines. His approval seemed to seal the deal. "Let's do it then. We'll set a date, and Anna, you can show us what you've got," Caroline declared, and the group around us clapped and voiced their agreements. As we were discussing the nuances of a particularly striking abstract piece, Tom approached us, his expression tight and controlled. He cleared his throat, interrupting our conversation abruptly. "Anna, we need to leave. Now," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. I glanced at Caroline, feeling a mix of embarrassment and frustration. "Tom, can't it wait? We're in the middle of..." "No, it can't. We're going, and we're going to discuss your behavior tonight," he snapped, looking around, wary of the other guests overhearing. Before I could respond, Caroline stepped in, her voice calm but firm. "Actually, Tom, Anna will stay. She's enjoying the party, and it seems many here appreciate her company and her talent." Tom's face turned an even deeper shade of red. "But..." Caroline didn't let him finish. "No buts. If you must leave, then go ahead. My driver will take Anna home later." At that moment, Caroline's husband, who had been mingling with other guests nearby, joined our little standoff. He assessed the situation quickly, his brow furrowing as he looked from Tom to me. "Tom, if you're not enjoying the party, you might as well head home," he said with a decisive nod. "Anna is welcome to stay as long as she likes." Tom looked like he was about to argue further, but stopped himself. Opening and closing his mouth, he finally just nodded stiffly and turned on his heel, heading towards the exit without another word. I got back home late that night, the party's energy still buzzing in my veins, but the atmosphere chilled instantly when I stepped through the front door. Tom was there, waiting up, and his parents were with him, their faces stormy with disapproval. "You just couldn't help yourself, could you, Anna? Going out there, acting like some sort of artist, you're going to ruin my career with your antics." Tom spat out the words as soon as I walked in. His mom chimed in, her voice sharp and accusing, "You think you're better than us, flaunting your paintings in front of important people. You've embarrassed us all." Tom crossed his arms, glaring at me as if I'd committed some unforgivable sin. "This has to stop, Anna. I'm throwing out your easel and all your paints tomorrow. We can't have this madness continuing." I stared at them, a laugh escaping me, before I could hold it back. It was absurd, all of it, how they saw me and my art. "You're not throwing out anything, Tom. Because I won't be here for you to bully anymore. I'm leaving you." The room went still. Tom's face went white. "You're what? Anna, don't be stupid. You think you can just leave? Where will you go?" His dad snorted. "She thinks she's some kind of artist now. Who would want those daubs?" Ignoring the sting from his words, I held my ground. "Actually, Caroline loved my painting. She's even offered to help me organize a personal exhibition. People are interested, Tom. Just not you." I turned away from them, heading to the bedroom to pack some essentials. Their voices followed me, each word more desperate and biting than the last. His mother's voice was shrill, piercing through the house. "We were too kind to you, letting you indulge in your little hobby. You never appreciated anything we did for you." I zipped up my bag, the weight of their words less than the weight of staying. "I appreciate myself, and that's enough for now," I muttered under my breath. With my bag slung over my shoulder, I walked out of the room, past them, and headed for the door. They didn't follow me. Maybe they were shocked that I'd actually stood up and walked away, or maybe they realized I had nothing left to give them. After the divorce, I moved with Emily into a small apartment that had just enough space for us, and a little corner I could convert into a studio. As I arranged my brushes and canvases, Emily peeked around the corner, her eyes curious. "Mom, can I paint too?" she asked, her voice hopeful. "Of course, sweetie. This studio is as much yours as it is mine," I replied, setting up a small easel next to mine for her. Those early days were tough, but fulfilling. With every stroke of the brush, I felt more like myself, and less like the person I had been during the last days with Tom. Caroline, true to her word, had not only encouraged me but actively supported my art. She arranged my first solo exhibition, and it was more successful than I dared to hope. At the exhibition, the response was overwhelming. People didn't just see the colors and shapes, they felt the emotions behind each piece. I sold several paintings, and soon, commissions started coming in from private clients and galleries. My art was finally supporting us, and I was doing what I loved. One afternoon, as I was setting up for a new project, my phone rang. It was Tom. I hesitated for a moment before answering. "Hello? Anna, it's me," Tom's voice came through, sounding hesitant. "I heard about your exhibition. Sounds like you're doing well." "I am, Tom. Thanks," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. There was a pause before he continued. "Anna, I've been thinking, maybe we could try again. For Emily's sake." I took a deep breath, feeling the old weight of his words. But I was not the same person who left that night. "Tom, I appreciate that, but no. I'm happy now, really happy. Emily is thriving, and so am I. We're better off this way." After hanging up, I turned back to my canvas, a portrait of Emily that I had started. It was more than just a painting, it was a reflection of everything we had been through and everything we were moving towards. I added a stroke of light across her face, thinking about how she had grown. This portrait, I decided, would be my best yet. Not because of the skill or style, but because it represented hope, a visual testament to our new life, where fear and suppression had no place. Emily peeked in, watching me work. "Is that me?" she asked, her eyes wide. "Yes, it is. What do you think?" I asked, stepping back to let her see. It looks like me, but happier, she noted, and I laughed. As she ran off to play, I looked at the portrait and then around our little studio. We had come so far. Despite the struggles and the fears, we had made it. And I knew, no matter what came next, we would handle it, just like we always had, with a bit of creativity and a lot of love.